Hi everybody, so today I'm going to show you how to make this little sheep. I will be crocheting with the band, so I'm going to be just using my hook. Pick the colors that you would like to use. I will be doing my video in the skin color, on the face and the tips of the feet, and I'll be using the white bands. To do this, you're going to need about 500 for the body color and 160 for the face and the tips. I'm going to be using 2 black bands for the eyes, so pick the colors that you would like to use. I'll also be using 1 C-clip, my hook, and some stuffing. So I'm going to get started. Round 1 of the legs, what we're going to do is 6 single stitches on the magic ring. I'm going to be using a different color for the bottom. So I'm going to start off with my skin color. Again, use any color that you would like to use. You don't even have to change the color. You could have it the same color as the body. So I'm going to take a single band and I'm going to use the bottom part of my loom. So turn your loom upside down and we're going to take a single band and wrap it around 3 times around 1 peg. 1, 2, and 3. Now reach in with your hook and we're going to go with our first band and we're going to pull it through. Put the other end on your hook and you're going to slide this band over this end and bring it to the side. Go in with your second stitch, so your second band, put on your hook, grab these 2 bands and bring it over. Bring it to the side. Our third stitch, reach in, bring it through, put on your hook, and bring these 2 bands over. Bring it to the side. Go back in for our fourth, grab the end, and bring it through. Put on your hook, and grab these 2 bands and bring it over. Our fifth, our fifth, reach in, grab the band and bring these 2 bands over. Bring it to the side. Our 6th band, reach in, grab the band and bring it up and put on your hook and bring these 2 bands over. Remove off the loom, or I'm going to add my C-clip now as my stitch marker. And now you should have 6 stitches. Move your bands around so that they're nice and even. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the one on your hook is your 6th. For round 2 of the legs, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change color. So I'm going to start off with a slip stitch, similar to doing a slip knot. My second stitch, I'm going to increase. So I'm going to use 2 bands. My third stitch, I'm going to increase, so I'm going to use 2 bands. My next 3 stitches, I'm going to use 1 band. So I'm just going to increase this round till we have 8 stitches at the end. So I'm just going to add 2 extra bands. Your last stitch, where your C-clip is, or your stitch marker, you'll be adding 1 band. So I'm going to go in the first stitch, and I'm going to grab my band, and I'm going to attach it to the hook, and I'm going to pull through all of the stitches that are around my hook. I'm going to grab the end and slide through. Now I'm going in for my second stitch, and this stitch we're going to be adding 2 rubber bands. So go through, put on your hook, and slide through. Go back in that same stitch and add another rubber band and bring it through. Now I'm going to go in the third stitch and I'm going to do the same thing, adding 2 rubber bands one at a time. Slide through, go back in that same stitch and add another rubber band. Bring it through and slide. Now the last 3 stitches, I'm just adding a single band. So go in, grab 1 and bring it through. go to the next stitch, adding one rubber band, and our last stitch where your stitch marker is, I'm adding one rubber band. So now you should have 8 stitches. You're going to start right here, so not where your C-clip is and not where you have this tiny little slip knot. That's not a stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and the one on your hook is 8. I'm going to remove my stitch marker and add it to the band around my hook. For rounds 3 and rounds 4, all we're going to do is single stitch around, and we're going to use 8 bands. So one band will go in each single stitch around. The same thing with round 4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in my first stitch, which is here. So not, if you did change the color, you're not going in the band that you used. If you pull it, you'll see it's been used. Here I have a tiny little knot. That's not a stitch. I'm going for my first chain, my first single crochet chain. So I'm going to go in with one band and slide through. My next stitch, put on your hook and slide through. So just adding one rubber band to each chain. All the way around. When we finish rounds 4, down here, your last rubber band, you're going to be doing a slip knot, because then we'll have the leg will be done. If at any point in time I'm going too fast, please pause the video, finish the round, and then come back to me. So you should have 8 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and the one on your hook is 8. I'm going to remove my stitch marker and add it to the band around my hook. I'm going to give it a little stretch around, make sure it's nice and even, and I'm going to go for round 4, adding a single rubber band again. So I'm at my last band. I'm going to go in my last stitch where my stitch marker is, grab the band, and I'm going to bring it through all of the loops that are around my hook. So I have both ends of that rubber band on my hook, and one is on my finger. Grab the end and slide through, and I've just done a slip knot. Give it a little tug. I'm going to remove my C-clip. Make sure I move all the bands around so that they're nice and neat, and you're going to take a little bit of stuffing, not too much. And you're going to put inside. If you put too much, you're going to see the stuffing through the rubber bands, and that's not what you want to do. So please pause the video, and you're going to need 3 more. So round 1 of the ears, what we're going to do is use our bottom part of our loom, turn your loom upside down, and we're going to do 6 single stitches in the magic ring. So I'm going to use the bottom part, a single band, and wrap it around 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. Now you're going to use 6 rubber bands, and we're just going to slide them through. So with your hook, go in, grab one band and bring it through, as if you're doing a slip knot. Bring this band over and bring it to the side. Reach back in with our second band, bring it through, put on your hook, and slide these 2 bands over. Bring it to the side. stitch 3, reach in, bring these 2 bands over, bring it to the side. Our 4th rubber band, reach in, put on your hook, and slide these 2 bands over. Go back in for our 5th. Put on your hook, pull over, bring it to the side, and our 6th. Put on your hook, 2 bands over, and I'm going to add my C-clip to the band around my hook. Remove off the loom, move the bands around so that they're nice and even, and you should have 6 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the one on your hook is 6. For rounds 2, 3, and rounds 4, we're just going to single stitch in each chain. So we're just going to add a rubber band, 1 in each chain, 1, 1, 1, 1, all the way around. So you're just going in the first chain. We'll be using 6 rubber bands for each round. At the end of each round, you should have 6 stitches. So in the first chain, you want to put on your hook and slide through. Going for the next stitch with 1. The next, 1. The next, 1. All the way around. So you should have 6 stitches. Remove your C-clip or your stitch marker and add it to the band around your hook. And now we're going for rounds 3. So going in the first chain with 1. Chain 2 with 1. Oh, I lost my C-clip. The next chain, and your last one. So you should have 6 stitches. And we're going for our round 4. I'm just going to move these stitches around. On your last rubber band on round 4, you're going to be doing a slip knot. So going in the first chain, all the way around with 1. And our last rubber band, we're going to slide through all the loops around our hook and tie off. Going to remove my C-clip. We're not going to stuff the ears, but what we are going to do is you want to bring your slip knot to the side. I'm going to move this around so you can see. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through with 2 rubber bands. We're going to use 2 more rubber bands. I'm going to go through this chain and this chain on either side, and I'm going to do a slip knot. So not the chains that are attached to your slip knot. I'm going to go through the middle ones. So 2 chains on either side. And I'm going to grab a band and bring it through. Put on your hook and do a slip knot. Now you'll have 2 more chains at the end here, so just fix it up, and you're going to see the 2 top chains right at the end on either side. So here's 1, and I'm going to go find the other one on the other side, grab the band, Bring it through the loops and put on your hook and slide through. Now pause the video and make yourself another one. For round 1 of the body, we are going to do 5 single stitches in the magic ring. So turn your loom upside down. You're going to take a single band and wrap it around 3 times around the bottom peg. 1, 2, and 3. So we're just going to use 5 bands. So reach in. I have this polyfill all over the place. Grab one band and bring it over. Bring it to the side. Our second band, reach in, put on your hook, and bring these 2 bands over. Bring it to the side. Reach back in, grab the band, bring it on your hook, and bring these 2 bands over. For our fourth band, reach in, grab the other end, bring the 2 bands over and bring it to the side. Reach in. For your fifth band, put on your hook and bring these 2 bands over. I'm going to add my stitch marker and remove off the loom. You should have 5 stitches. Move your bands around. 1, 2, 3, 4, and the one on your hook is 5. For round 2 of the body, what we're going to do is increase on every stitch. So at the end of this round, we are going to have 10 stitches. So you're going to go 2 bands, 2 bands, 2 bands in every single stitch. So I'm going to go in my first stitch, and I'm going to add 1 rubber band at a time. Put on your hook and slide through. Go back in that same stitch with your second rubber band. Slide through. Going in our next stitch with 2 rubber bands, 1 at a time. Bring it through. Go back in that same stitch with your second rubber band. Moving on to the next stitch, we're going to add 2 again, 1 at a time. You're just going to complete this pattern all the way around, going back in the same stitch. The next chain, going back in, and the last stitch with 2 rubber bands. You should have 10 stitches now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. I'm going to remove my C-clip and attach it to the band around my hook. For round 3 of the body, what we're going to be doing on this round is adding a little tail. So we're going to start off with our pattern, which will be 1 band in the first chain, 2 bands in the next chain. 1, 2, 1, 2. When we get here, so this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in your 6th chain, we're going to be adding the tail, and all it is a single band wrapped around your hook 3 times, and we're going to slide it on double bands. But I'm going to show you how to do this while you're crocheting, because this is going to help you to do the piece right here, the little frill, the little puff here. When you get to your stitch marker, you're going to add 2 rubber bands. At the end of this round, you're going to have 20 stitches. So let's get started. We're going to go on our first chain with 1 band. Slide through. Our next chain with 2. 1 at a time. Oh, sorry, going back in that same chain with adding the other. our next chain with 1, our next chain with 2, then 1 in the next, and in the next chain I'm going to put my hook through, grab a single band, I'm going to wrap it around my hook 3 times, 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to slide this on double bands, so take the double bands, use your finger, hold it, support it, and slide the band on. So this is now what this is. I'm going to slide this end through the body and put the other end that's from on my finger on the hook. Now I'm going to slide through these bands, so the 2 bands that are at the end of my hook, slide it through. So now I have 2 bands on my hook. I'm going to go back in that same chain and add 1 more rubber band. And slide through, put the other end on your hook, and you're going to slide through these 3 bands. Now continuing with the pattern, in my next chain 1, my next chain, there, I'll be adding 2, then 1, and 2 in the last. So you should have 15 stitches, and this is what it should look like. Remove your C-clip or your stitch marker and add it to the band around your hook. For round 4 of the body, what we're going to do is increase on every 3rd stitch. So the pattern is 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. You're going to complete this pattern 5 times. So at the end of this pattern, at the end of this round, you're going to have 20 stitches. Your last stitch where your C-clip is, you're going to have 2 rubber bands. So starting in the first chain, adding 1 rubber band. So 1, 1 in the next, and 2 in the next, the 3rd. Going back in, repeat, 1, 1, and 2. Now I'm at my tail, so I'm going to go in my chain here, adding 1. Right beside the chain, you're going to see the double bands. I'm only going to go through the top single and on the other side the single. So I only have the 2 loops around my hook. Adding 1 rubber band. Two are in my next. And repeat. 1, 1 in the next, and 2. And the last. Two in my last. You should have 20 stitches now. count your stitches, then move your C-clip or your stitch marker. For rounds 5 to rounds 11, what we're going to do is single stitch in each chain. So you're just adding one rubber band, one, all the way around. At the end of each round, you're going to have 20 stitches. So in each pile, for each round, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11, I have 20 bands in each. So I'm going to do the first round with you. So going in your first chain, not where it's getting pulled, 1 with 1 rubber band. Going on to the second chain with 1. One in the next. One. All the way around. One. I'm going to start you off with round 6. I'm going to leave my C-clip here just in case I get distracted and I can count where I left off. So this will be round 6. So I'm just going to add a new C-clip. And going in the first chain just with 1 rubber band. You're going to complete these rounds, so pause the video and come back to me when you're done. So I finished rounds 5 to rounds 11, so just to show you, this is what I did. I kept the C-clips on to count my rounds. So I'm just going to remove them. So that was rounds 5 and 6. Round 7 was done. Round 8. Round 9. Round 10. And round 11. So I'm just going to add my C-clip to the band around my hook, and I'm going to start round 12. For round 12, what we're going to do is decrease our 20 stitches to 15. So at the end of this round, you're going to have 15 stitches. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go 1, 1, stitch 3 and 4 together. Repeat 1, 1, 3 and 4 together. So I'm going to use 15 bands, and I'm going to get started. I'm going to go in my first chain, not where it's getting pulled, with a single band. In my next chain, so my second chain, with 1 band. Now I'm going to take stitch 3, turn my hook, bring it to the center, and go through stitch 4. So I have 2 stitches on my hook, and I'm going to bring a single band through turning my hook, and with my finger I'm going to push the body to the center of that band to relieve some of the tension and slide through. I'm going to repeat the pattern. 1, 1, 3, and 4 together. This is decreasing, so we're making this round smaller. Repeat. 1, 1, 3, and 4 together. And repeat. 1, 1, stitch 3 and stitch 4 together. Slide through, push with your finger, grab the other end, and slide through. And you're doing this pattern one more time. 1, 1, and 3 and 4 together, which these are my last 2 stitches. Push with your finger, grab the other end, and slide through. So you should have 15 stitches now. Always start at the stitch beside your stitch marker. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15 is on your hook. I'm going to remove my C-clip and add it to my band around my hook. For round 13, we are going to single stitch in the first chain, so adding 1 rubber band. And then we're going to stitch 2 and 3 together. So it's 1, 2, and 3 together. 1, 2, and 3 together. We're going to repeat this pattern 5 times till we reach the end. At the end, we're just going to add some stuffing. At the end of this round, you're going to have 10 stitches. So I'm going to use 10 rubber bands. So going in my first stitch with 1 band. Then take stitch 2 and stitch 3 and stitch together. Bring through, push with your finger, slide through, and repeat. 1, 2, and 3 together. Again, 1, 2, and 3 together. You're going to repeat this pattern 2 more times until you reach the end. I'm going to remove the stitch marker. You should have 10 stitches. And I'm just going to move the band to the middle of my hook here just for support. I'm going to move these bands around so that they're nice and even. And I'm going to take some stuffing. Do not overstuff the body. The balance won't be good at the end. You'll have a hard time standing him up. You do not want to see any of the stuffing coming through. So just put as much. White is a little bit easier because you don't see, because it's the same color. So I'm just going to roll this around, and any stuffing that is coming out, I'm going to just remove. because I've overstuffed it. So just check if you have any of the stuffing really coming out, just remove it. This should be fine. For round 14, we're going to decrease every 2 stitches. So we're going to take 1 and 2 together, 1 and 2 together, 1 and 2 together. You're going to repeat this pattern 5 times. And at our last band, we're going to do a slip knot. So I'm going to go through stitch 1 and then go through stitch 2. So I'm stitching together, bringing a single band and bringing it through. Push down and repeat 1 and 2 together. Repeat 1 and 2 together. One and 2 together. And your last 2, 1 and 2 together. I'm going to take a single band and I'm going to go through all of the loops that are on my hook. So 1, 2, and the last one. So I have either end of that single band on my hook and one is on my finger. And slide through and give it a tug. I'm going to remove the C-clip. If you have any stuffing that is really showing through, just take your hook and reach in and grab some of the stuffing and pull it out. When you finish pulling out, I'm going to take a little bit, you can take a pen, just make sure that it's closed, and just push the ends in. If you have any sticking out, these little ones you can just pull out so that it's nice and neat. And we're done with the body. Now I'm going to show you how to do the face, and we're going to start off with the tip here. So pick the color that you would like to use, and I will be using the skin. Round 1 of the head, what we're going to do is 5 single stitches in the magic ring. So get your loom and turn it upside down, and take a single band and wrap it around the bottom peg 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. Now we're going to do 5 single stitches, so reach in, grab one band as if you're doing a slip knot and bring it through. Put on your hook, grab the end and bring it over. Bring it to the side. Reach back in with our second band, put on your hook and bring these 2 bands over. Turn it to the side. Our third stitch, bring it through, on your hook, and bring these 2 bands over. Bring it to the side. Reach in with our fourth stitch, bring it through, on your hook, and bring these 2 bands over. And our last, our 5th band. I'm going to add my stitch marker and remove it off the loom. Move the bands around, and you should have 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. For round 2 of the face, what we're going to do is increase on every stitch. So I'm just going to add 2 rubber bands to every single stitch. So at the end of this round, you're going to have 10 stitches. So right now I'm going to use 10 bands. So going in the first stitch with 1 band. Go back in that same stitch and add 2. So another one. Moving on to the next stitch, 1 band at a time, so go back in. So you're just adding 2 rubber bands to each stitch around. Going back in. Our next stitch. And our last stitch. So you should have 10 stitches all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 on your hook. I'm going to remove my C-clip and just move your bands around. Round 3 of the face, what we're going to do is increase on this round. So we are going to go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, all the way around. At the end of this round, you're going to have 20 stitches, so I'm using 20 rubber bands. At the end, where your stitch marker is, you'll be adding 2 rubber bands. So going in the first stitch with 1. Our next stitch, stitch 2, you're adding 2 rubber bands, 1 at a time. Going back in with 2. You're going to start again, 1, in our next stitch 2. You're repeating this pattern 5 times around, and repeat. Next stitch 1, next stitch 2, and repeat. And I'm at the stitch marker, so I'm just adding 2 rubber bands. You should have 20 stitches around. Count your stitches and then remove your stitch marker. And again, move your bands around if you need to. For round 4 of the face, what we're going to do is increase on every 3rd stitch. So the pattern is 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, all the way around. You're going to repeat this pattern 5 times. At the end of this round, you're going to have 20 stitches, so we're using 20 rubber bands. Going in the first stitch with 1. Our second stitch, 1. And our third stitch, adding 2 rubber bands. So we're increasing, going back in that same stitch and added 2, and repeat. 1, 1, 2. And again, 1, 1, 2. And just continue this pattern. You just have to do 2 more times. And 2. You should have 20 stitches. Count your stitches and then remove your C-clip and attach it to the band around your hook. For rounds 5 and 6 of the head, or the face, what we're going to do is single stitch in each chain stitch around. So you're just adding a single band, 1, 1, 1, 1, all the way around. At the end of these 2 rounds, you're going to have 20 stitches. So in each pile, I have 20 bands. So I'm going to do the first round, round 5 with you, and then you're going to pause the video to do round 6. So just adding 1 band in each chain, and then just repeat the round. One all the way around. Pause the video if you need to. And you can start the next one. You can leave your stitch marker on. I miscounted with my rubber bands. I need one more. I only counted 19. I'm just going to make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. The one on my hook is 20. You can remove the C-clip or leave it there just to count the rounds, but you're going to do round 6. So pause the video and come back to me when you're done. Round 7 of the face, what we're going to do is single crochet in each chain. So we're just going to use 1 band in each chain. 1, 1, 1, 1, all the way around. But on stitch 9 and stitch 12, I'm going to be adding the eyes. So pick 2 bands of your eye color choice, and I'm going to count each chain. So going in the first chain with 1. If I didn't say at the end of this round, you're going to have 20 stitches. So I'm using 20 rubber bands. Chain 2 with 1. Chain 3, 1. Chain 4, 1. Chain 5, chain 6, chain 7, chain 8, and now for chain 9, let's add the eye. So I'm going to reach in through my chain. I'm going to grab my eye band, and I'm going to wrap this around my hook 4 times. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So there's 4 loops around my hook. Now I'm going to grab my band, and I'm going to attach, support, slide this band on, and I'm going to pull this end through the face. Grab the other end that's on your finger and slide it through the 2 bands. So now I'm going to continue with chain 10, 1 band, chain 11, 1 band, and now chain 12, we're going to add the eye again. So go through, grab your band and wrap it around 4 times. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Grab your band, attach, and slide the band on. And pull it through the face. Grab the other end, and slide through. And just continue this pattern all the way around with 1 band in each chain. Should have 20 stitches. I'm going to remove my C-clip. And then you can adjust and fix these eyes by turning them around, just fiddling with them. For rounds 8, what we're going to do is just single crochet again. So in each chain, I'm going to use a single band, 1, 1, 1, 1, all the way around. At the end of this round, you're going to have 20 stitches. So I'm using 20 rubber bands. Going in the first chain with 1. 1 in the next. 1 in the next. 1 in the next. So continue this pattern all the way around. Pause the video and come back to me when you're done. Just remember you have 20 stitches when you're done this round. For round 9 of the head now, what we're going to do is I'm going to do this little puff that goes around. So I'm going to use 40 bands. At the end of this round, you're going to have 20 stitches. So the extra band on each pile is going to be the puff. So we're going to do it the same way as we just did the eyes. So I'm going to be switching color first. So what I'm going to do is go through, I'm going to add my C-clip. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through my first chain. I'm going to take a single white band and I'm going to wrap it around my hook 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. Now taking that single band, attach, support, and slide this band on. This part is optional. You don't have to do this. I'm going to slide through, so just don't add this piece if you don't want to have that. So I'm going to slide it through all the bands that are around my hook because I'm changing color. So this will be our slip stitch. So it will be a nice even round. So going through the other, grab in the end and slide through. So that was 1. Going on our next stitch, I'm going to take a rubber band and wrap it around 3 times. Attach, support, slide on, bring it through the face color, put on your hook, and slide through the 2. Our next one, 1 rubber band, 3 times. Single, slide, bring it through the face, and slide. You're just doing this all the way around. 3 times wrapped, slide through, and again. 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to do this one more time, and then you're going to pause the video to complete this round. So take a single band, wrap it around 3 times after you go through your chain. 1, 2, and 3. Take a single band, attach, support with your finger, and slide the band on. Bring it through the chain, the other end on your hook, and slide through. So you can pause the video and come back to me when you're completed this round. For rounds 10 to rounds 12, all you're going to do is single stitch on each chain. So you're going to add one rubber band to each one, one, all the way around. Each pile has 20 bands, so at the end of the rounds you should have 20 stitches. So I'm going to start off round 10 with you. So I'm going to go in my first stitch, which is right here. If you changed color, you're going to see the band here. This little one is your slip knot. You're just going to go in right here. And for some reason I don't have a C-clip on. So I'm going to go in with one. My next chain is one. Be careful you don't catch the little bands that we put on the edges here. You're just going through the chain. One. One in each one all the way around. So I think that if you continue this pattern all the way around, you can pause the video now and come back to me when you've done rows 10, 11, and 12. Just very slowly so you don't catch the band that's on the edge. So please pause the video and come back to me when you're done. Round 13 of the head, this is what you should have so far. But round 13, what we're going to do is we're going to add one band in the first stitch, one band in the second, and we're going to start to decrease. So we're going to take 3 and 4 together. You're going to repeat 1, 1, 3, and 4 together. So at the end of this round, you're going to have 15 stitches. You might want to, right now, just move your bands around so that they're nice and even. Just going to put this back on my hook. And we're going to start. So I'm going to go in my first chain, not where it's getting pulled, and I'm going to add one rubber band. Our second chain, 1. You're going to repeat this pattern 5 times using a total of 15 bands. So now I'm at stitch 3, and we're going to take stitch 4 and stitch together, adding one rubber band. Push with your finger the head to the center of that band, grab the other end, and go through, and repeat. 1, 1, 3, and stitch 4 together. And repeat. 1, 1, 3, and 4 together. Repeat 2 more times. 1, 1, 3, and 4 together. One, 1, 3, and 4 together. I'm going to remove my stitch marker, add it to the band around my hook, and I'm going to grab some stuffing now. So I'm going to move this band to the middle of my hook here. And again, don't overstuff. You don't want it all that big. For round 14 of the head, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 1 rubber band on my first chain, and I'm going to take 2 and 3 together. So it's 1, 2, and 3 together. You're going to repeat this pattern 5 times, and at the end of this round you're going to have 10 stitches. So I'm going to go on my first stitch with 1 band. I'm going to take stitch 2 and stitch 3 and stitch together. Repeat our first stitch with 1 band, stitch 2 and stitch 3 together. Stitch 1 with 1 band, 2 and 3 together. Repeat 1, 2, and 3 together. And one more time. 1 with 1 band, 2 and 3 together. You should have 10 stitches. For round 15, we're going to decrease every stitch. So I'm going to take 1 and 2 and stitch together, 1 and 2, stitch together, 1 and 2, stitch together. You're going to repeat this pattern 5 times. With our last band, we're going to be doing a slip knot because we're going to close off the head. So going in chain 1 and chain 2, stitch together. Repeat 1 and 2, stitch together. Again, 1 and 2, and stitch together. One and 2 together. And our last 2. 1 and 2, and I'm going to take a band and I'm going to slide it through all the loops that are around my hook. So I have either end of that band around my finger and my hook. Put on your hook and just slide through, and you're going to give it a tug. I have my C-clip in the way, so I'm just going to remove that and give it a tug. And you can just hide that slip knot. And the head is done. Now I'm going to show you how to sew on the ears. I'm going to start on this side first. So what I'm going to do is, right beside your eye, you're going to see a stitch. 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to attach one of these slip knots right to this stitch. So again, eye, 1, 2, and 3. With my hook, I'm going to go in right at the top here, and I'm going to grab this slip knot and bring it through. Now at the stitch right beside it, I'm going to go through with my hook. So right in here, right at the top, I'm going to grab the next slip knot and bring it underneath. I'm going to slide it underneath this band, so our original slip knot. I'm going to go through the next stitch and grab that slip knot and bring it through and then slide it underneath. Now I'm just going to grab one of these bands underneath. So just one of these white bands or whatever band you can grab. So I'm just grabbing one of the little white bands underneath. And I'm going to do a slip knot. I'm going to go through all of the 2 bands that were around my hook. Grab the end and give it a tug. I'm going to go underneath the ear through like these bands through the center of the ear, and I'm going to go out right beside that slip knot just so I can hide the little knot. And one ear is on. Now we're going to do the other ear, and what I'm going to do is from the eye, I'm going to count 5 stitches over. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This is the stitch that I want to start at. So I'm going to go underneath and grab a slip knot. I'm going to go for the next stitch underneath the head, grab the middle slip knot of that ear, bring it underneath, and slide underneath the other slip knot. I'm going to go for the next stitch, which will be your third from the eye. Here's your eye, 1, 2, and 3. Grab that slip knot and bring it underneath and slide. Now again, I'm just going to reach in for a little white band here that was attached to the ear. I'm going to grab another white band and I'm going to do a slip knot. And I'm going to slide the band, I'm going to do a slip knot. I'm just going to have either end of my band on, one's on my finger, one's on my hook, and slide. Again, I'm just going to go through the ear and hide that slip knot. And so the ears are on. Now I'm going to sew the head to the body. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to attach 8 rubber bands to the head. And we're going to turn our head upside down. And we are going to look at where the eye is on one side, and we're going to go directly across to the back. And that's where I'm going to go in. So I'm just going to follow this row, and I'm going to go about 1 over here. So if you followed where the eye was, you're coming to this stitch and it's going on an angle. So I'm just going to go over 1 here. I'm going to go through that stitch right at the bottom. I'm going to grab a single band and I'm just going to pull it through and do a slip knot. I'm going to go right beside it and do another one. And right beside that one, we're going to do another one. And then beside that one, we're going to go for a 4th. And again. So you should have 4. Now we're going to do the same thing right below on the white stitches. So I'm just going to go right below, bring a rubber band through, right underneath this one, so just about here. Underneath this one, so about here. And one more. So I'm just going to go about here. So this is what you should have, 8 rubber bands with just slip knots. So now we're going to take the head and make sure that the tail is up, not upside down. And I'm going to basically go about here, starting to sew it on. If it does look crooked or you end up sewing it wrong, just unravel the stitches before we do a slip knot to tie it off. So I'm about here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the stitches, the slip knots that we have on the head first. And I'm just going to go through just making sure that it's about even of the body. So we want 2 stitches on half where the tail is and 2 stitches on the other half of the tail. So if here's the center, I'm going to go 1 and 2 over, grab the slip knot, the one that's on the actual face, and bring it through. I'm going to go the stitch beside it and grab the next slip knot and bring it through so it's on my hook, and I'm going to slide under that original slip knot. I'm going to move on to the next stitch, grab that slip knot and bring it through. Going through the next stitch and bring it through. So it's like this. Now I'm just going to go right behind it and I'm going to grab the next row. So I'm just going to go right through, grabbing the next slip knot and go through and go through the other one. I'm going to go to the stitch beside it, grab the slip knot, bring it underneath, bring it through the other slip knot, stitch beside it, go through, grab that slip knot, and through the other slip knot. The stitch beside it on the body, grab that slip knot, and bring it through if I can. And slide it through the other slip knot. So I'm just going to go in the neck here, just grabbing one of the single bands wherever, grabbing a single band, and I'm going to go through the bands that are on my hook and do a slip knot. And give it a tug. So there's the head. Now we're going to do the legs. So now I'm going to show you how to sew on the legs. What I'm going to do first is find the center of my body. And I am just going to go through the stitch that I think is in the center with another rubber band. And I'm going to do a slip knot just to show you kind of where I'm at. You don't have to do that. And I'm just going to put maybe another one right here. I don't want to sew the legs to the center of the body. This is not going to be easy, especially if it's your first time ever doing this, but it's not impossible. If you have to, just watch me first and then pause the video and try it. I'm going to show you one leg right now. I'm going to do all 4 of them with you, but I want to find the placement where I want them. Okay, so I want them to stand. So if I put the legs like up here, and more back here, he's going to lie with his legs flat like that, which is cute too. Okay, so I am going to, with my hook, I'm going to go through this chain right here where my slip knot is. And I'm going to find the center here, and I'm going to put my leg about here. Okay, so I'm going to go at the stitch right beside my center, and that's where I'm going to start. There's no right and wrong. If you do know an easier way to do this, by all means, try. Tell us in the comments. I'm going to go through the body, through the loop on the leg, and I'm going to do a slip stitch or a slip knot. I'm going to go through the next chain on my leg, and I'm going to go right beside this chain on the body. I'm going to grab a band, and I'm going to go through all, and I'm going to do a crochet stitch. So I'm going to put on my hook, and I'm going to slide through. Now my leg is starting to turn the circle, so I'm going to turn where I grab on the body. So I'm not going to grab here, I'm going to kind of turn. Oops, I have to grab the leg first, my apology. Go through the stitch on the leg, the stitch on the body, grab a single band. Grab the other end and slide through. You're going to go through the stitch on the leg. Your circle is turning, so we're here on the next stitch. Grab a single band and bring it through the body, through the leg, on your hook, and slide. Now just adjust your leg nice and neat so we know where we're going. We don't want to stretch our leg and we're sewing it over here. We don't want to sew bigger than what the leg is. So on the chain on the leg, we're turning. So I'm right here, I'm going to turn, so where I grab the stitch on the body. Grab a single band and bring it through the body, through the leg, on your hook, and slide. Now the next chain on the leg, I'm turning again, and you have to determine now, you have 2 more stitches, so you have to figure out where you're grabbing. So I am going to grab maybe here and bring a band through the body, through the leg, and slide. I'm going to go through this chain on the leg. I'm going to go underneath now through the body, just making my life easier when I grab the band. Slide, and 1 more stitch. Okay, so I want you to look, make sure it's not sticking out anywhere, you didn't stretch the leg, feel comfortable with it. Mine looks pretty good. You can always remove it after. All you have to do is unravel the stitches. So just take the band off your hook and unravel. So this was our last stitch. What I'm going to do is a slip stitch. So I'm just going to let go, take that band back off my hook, open it up. I don't mean to do this, I just not sure exactly how to explain to you. I'm going to take this middle of the band and bring it through. So I have both ends of that band on my hook, and I'm going to do a slip stitch. And then you can hide the band now or after. I am going to now do the next leg. So with the next leg, I'm going to do the other one in the front. I need some more bands. I'm going to look again where the middle is, and I'm going to start at the stitch beside the center, but I also have to look at the height of this leg, the width of this leg, and the bottom. We want them even. So you have to keep an eye on all of that. So I'm going to start again through the stitch right beside the slip knot that's attached to the slip knot, and I'm going to start right about here. So I'm going to start one stitch over, so I'm just going to start about here and check to see if it's a good placement. Doing a slip stitch. Now, just going to check where I should be going. I'm going to go through the next stitch and right beside the stitch on the body, bring it through. And just keeping an eye on the other leg. I'm going to start to turn. So through the leg, grabbing the stitch as we're turning the circle, through the body, through the leg, on your hook, and slide. Through the stitch, I'm going to go straight down the side of the body here, grab the stitch, band, and bring it through. Now I'm starting to turn with the leg, so we want it even with this leg. So if I go through this stitch, oops, I have to go through the leg first. On my hook and slide. So they're about even on either sides. Through the leg. I'm going to start to turn. So I'm going to be at this stitch here. So I'm going to grab maybe this one. And I think that's good. I'm going to go through the leg. The body. I'm going to do that again. Through the leg one more time, one more stitch. And you can do a slip knot. So I'm just going to take this end off, slide, and a slip knot. So our two legs are on. I'm going to do the other two with you. So now what we're going to do is find the back. So I'm going to take a leg. I'm going to go through with my hook through the stitch right beside the slip knot. And again, I'm going to start at the stitch that's beside the center. So I think I'm going to start about here. I'm going to bring my band through the body, through the leg, on my hook, and slide. So if I put it there, I'm thinking that's good, or maybe a little bit too high. I'm just going to remove because I'm thinking it's a little bit high. So let's just see. And I go a little bit back towards the back. Slide. And slide. And I'm thinking that's a good placement. And I go through the next stitch. I'm turning. Sorry. My next stitch, I'm going to see the placement first. I'm going to start to turn. So I'm going on an angle, okay? I'm going to go through the leg, through the body, bring a band through, through the body. I'm starting to turn, and I'm going to make sure that I'm even with this leg. So if I put it here, through the next stitch on the leg, the body, the leg, even with the body. I'm going to turn it. Still always checking the measurements of the other leg, through the leg, through the body, and slide. And our last stitch, we're going to do a slip knot. So I'm going to go through my last stitch, stitch on my body, and slide through. And slide through the other band that's on your hook, grab the end, and give it a tug. I just want to make sure, and that's good so far. One more leg. So our next leg, I'm going to take my hook and go through the stitch beside the slip knot. And again, or maybe I'm going to make sure the placement is good. So I'm just going to kind of center and have an idea of where I'm going to go. So I'm going to go through, and I'm going to start so it's even with here, with this leg, and one stitch over from the center. So I'm going to start, I'm not sure if I should start here or here. I think I should start here. And do a slip stitch. Through the next chain, we're going to go right beside it. On your hook, and slide. The next stitch will be turning around the body. And again, we want to make sure that we're even with this leg now. So I think I'm going to go here. Bring a band through. I'm going to check just to make sure. And that looks even. Through the next stitch, I'm starting to turn now, so I'm going to start to look at where the placement of this leg is. So I'm thinking, I have no idea where I'm thinking. I'm thinking I'm going to go here. It's a bit tricky. You just have to keep your eyes on all the angles. My next stitch, I am going to keep my eye on the center, so I'm going to go one stitch over, maybe here. And my next stitch, again keeping my eye on the center. I don't want to go towards that. Slide. 2 more bands left. And I caught all the stuffing. Give me a second. And our last stitch. We want to do a slip knot. Putting the other, slips knot. I'm going to slide the band through and slide through. And we want to make sure that it stands and it's good. Now you can, if you did add the different color bands on for the center, you can remove those. And you can hide your slip knots. You can adjust the eyes if you need to. I'm going to hide the slip knots through the legs or through the body, whatever way you want to go. So just go out beside the slip knots, bring them through the center one. And if you have any of the stuffing sticking out, remember, just use a pen and bring it, like kind of stick it in. I'll fix that one in a second. With your hook, you can take the pieces around and just fix them up if you need to. Make them nice and neat. The eyes, you can just turn around and fix. Again, with the stuffing, make sure your pen is closed. These little pieces, because we are fooling around with them, you can just, with your fingers, just grabbing just the 1 or 2 pieces that are sticking out. If you see a bunch sticking out in one spot, don't pull it. Everything's going to come out. I know, I've done it several times. Okay, and she's done. I hope you enjoyed. Please subscribe down below. I have a lot more designs to load, and I will see you next time with another. Bye for now.